Listen to that sizzle. That is so good. A lot of folks are afraid to eat rare venison. I'm gonna get sick. Oh, it tastes gross. I'm gonna tell you what, it tastes delicious. If you do it right, you won't get sick, and it's so much better. I'm gonna make elk tartare, and this is just like a tartare you're gonna get in a fancy restaurant, but it's better because you cleaned it yourself, you prepared it yourself, you killed the animal yourself, you know where this meat came from, and it's gonna be delicious and wonderful. Let's start now. All right, this is just a chunk of frozen elk backstrap. I had it in the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes. You wanna keep it fairly firm. It makes it easier to slice. And what we're gonna do is basically get it into a fine mince or a fine dice. And actually, I prefer a little bit of sirloin for this. Backstrap is great, tenderloin is great. Tenderloin is maybe a little soft, but sirloin's great, or maybe even a chunk of French shoulder. You want your meat to have a little bit of tooth to it. If it doesn't have enough tooth, it's too soft, it's gonna be mushy, and you really want this to have a good bite. And you really want to start with a really good product. Like you see, can you see this meat's real red? If you got some meat that's brown or oxidized, I wouldn't use that. It'll probably be fine, but it's not going to taste as good. Presentation's not going to be near as good. Get a nice bright red chunk of meat. I got this elk in a nice mince. I'm going to add a little capers now, but I want them chopped up a little bit. It's about a tablespoon of capers probably. And then I'm just going to chop them up a little bit fine. You just don't want those big chunks in there. All right, I'm gonna just fold those capers up onto there. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of Dijon or so into this. This is probably half, 3/4 a pound of meat. Use a pound of meat, add a little bit more. Just a handful of salt. Nice pinch. A little bit of red onion in there. Add some tang. Just maybe a pinch of chopped parsley. I'm gonna just fold that in real quick. I use my knife I just work this really good on the cutting board. Just fold everything in. It kind of mixes better that way. I'm now gonna go for the secret ingredient might freak a lot of people out. It's anchovy paste. I actually like to put a whole fillet of anchovy in here. I have anchovy paste today. You can't even taste the fish. It doesn't taste like anchovy. It just adds that little flavorful, the umami as people like to say. I'm gonna do about a tablespoon of this paste, maybe not quite that much. Put it in there. If you don't like anchovies, if you can't find anchovy paste in your grocery store, Worcestershire sauce works really well as well. So, like I said, I just take my knife and just keep folding things over. All right, there you go. Next step, we're gonna pop it in the freezer. All right, our next step is gonna get this in the freezer. I like to take a bowl, put a little plastic lining in it, and then we're just gonna dump that nice ball of meat in there. This will help with presentation as well. Press it down in there. You just want this really cold when you serve it, so I just dump it in there. We're gonna put this whole thing in the freezer. All right, the tartare's been in the freezer for about 30, 40 minutes. It's very cold. You want to serve it as cold as possible. I also like to serve it very fancy with a nice little egg yolk right on top. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I think I'll throw a little bit of parsley on top as well. Presentation is important, and then we'll just salt that. All right, serve it a little crostini. Your guests are gonna be excited. Get the ones that are brave enough to try it. If you can talk the other ones into it too, they'll love you forever. Take just a little bite. Spread that on some crostini. And oh man, that is good. A+.